Hi, Dutch football fans. It is time for another Football-Oranje show, and it is a preview of Netherlands versus Morocco for you next. Round of 32 tie. The Netherlands then finished top of their group. Morocco finished second in their group. It's kind of what we saw coming, wasn't it? That we had to face either Brazil or Morocco. Morocco it is. And we mixed up a little bit. I'm here today, and Mike is here. Mike, we didn't get your thoughts of the game against Tunisia, so we look forward to those. We'll talk about the Morocco game. We're going to put up some squad players on the screen in a minute to talk about Morocco. Lots to enjoy here. I think there's so many subplots and exciting things about this game that I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, we'll have listened to this. Maybe listeners on YouTube might be able to see our faces. Give us a thumbs up if you have. Nice to get 100 likes on this one. We've really enjoyed your engagement throughout the World Cup. Leave a comment down below about this game too. But this is also available on Acast, Spotify, and Apple for you audio listeners. So, Mike, should we get started then? I mean, how are you feeling ahead of this? I've got to admit, I've had a sudden, unexpected rush of optimism about this one, which I didn't think I'd be feeling, given that we don't seem to ever beat sides that are ranked in the top 25 nations. And Morocco are 7th coming into this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a charged game. I guess my feeling overall is one that is this could either be the one that catapults Netherlands to being among the favourites for the World Cup, or it's going to be us going home. You know, it's on a knife edge. I think
simple as that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be very close. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes extra time penalties all the way. When I guess this stage, the games become nervy. They're not like group stage games where it can be a bit open at times. I think they get nervy. I think Morocco have flattered to deceive at times in this tournament. They looked really good against Brazil, but then maybe not so good the other two games. But then at times Netherlands have looked good, but then also very poor defensively. So yeah, it's hard to judge exactly how this game's going to go. I know Morocco are very confident. Netherlands are very confident. So yeah, it's going to be a good game. I think for us in the UK, it's a horrible time, 2 a.m. to kick off. I think this, out of all the round of 32 ties, I think this is the one that most deserves primetime television, but sadly the schedule.
I suppose it will be in the US, won't it?
Yeah.
That doesn't suit the people in Europe or in North Africa.
Yeah, true. And hopefully it goes the way that we want it to go. But yeah, I think a lot of things need to improve from that game against Tunisia to make it happen.
So, I've got this optimism from actually a little bit of that game against Tunisia, but also the game against Sweden, of course. I still felt that even that Tunisia game, we were obviously going at full pelt at all, but that's the point. Like, we didn't need to, and I think we could have done. The two goals early on. I don't repeat myself, but just for people that maybe didn't listen to the post-match show, I think if we needed to win 5 or 6, we would have done so that night. And that encouraged me because I think that we can go full tilt attacking football, and that is how we're going to beat teams. Yes, we will be vulnerable on the counter-attack, but I don't think we're going to suddenly change that. We won't play a back 5 against Morocco. We're going to go for it. We're going to play 4-3-3. And I have enough confidence now in whatever front 3 Koeman selects. I think it will be the right one. I don't think he's going to pick Depay, although famous last words with this coach at times. I think Robbie is going to start. I think he'll be a really useful weapon for us. We will talk about Cody Gakpo as well shortly, but I think our threat out wide, that can take on some of these Moroccan threats. And if someone like Hakimi likes to attack, he's going to have to do lots of defending in this game.
Yeah, I think that's why Mickey van de Ven comes into it. I think we need him to step up. I think if Gakpo's pushing forward, Hakimi pushes forward, we need van de Ven's pace up against Hakimi to try and stop him. So you hope that, he can have a better game than he did against Sweden, against Alanga. So yeah, I think that side of the pitch is crucial. I think a lot of our play goes through Gakpo. And that's why I hope Somerville starts, because then, the right-hand side then becomes even more potent than it has been recently. So if they can put a lot of focus on Gakpo, then it frees up the right-hand side with potentially the 2 biggest weapons that we have in Denzel Dumfries and Somerville to really attack them that way.
There are so many stories going into this game. One of the most recent ones is the sad news of Cody Gakpo losing his second unborn child. Some of myself have been through that pain, and I can only understand and feel really sorry for him and his family at the moment. I think that he will play this game because it's a situation where he could easily have gone home from a tournament, and I think none of us would have minded. This is one of those where football has no colours, and I think everyone would agree with that. With what happened with Jeremy Doku, by the way, that was a very different story, but him welcoming a child into the world, and then there was all of this backlash, wasn't there, in the media saying that how dare he? But I think that pundit hasn't even been sacked now from whichever channel they're on. I don't want to even say their name. Let's not even give them attention, but let's just give Cody that space and that chance to decide what he wants to do. I think he'll play, and I think that will only give him that extra energy that night, to be fair. All my thoughts to them, really.
Yeah, same. All thoughts to him and his family. Horrible thing to happen, mid tournament when he's probably distracted and can't spend all his time with his partner. And yeah, I think he'll be extra charged for this game. And I hope he has a game of his life and he can pay tribute to his unborn son that way.
Okay. Well, let's get into some of the subplots. There are many different stories going on here, mainly because of Morocco's. Well, how do I say this? There's a lot of political charged things going on with this, and we don't want to give sides politically at all on this show, but we've already got Moroccan pages on social media sharing clips of Dutch politicians that don't want to see as many Moroccans in the country. For example, you've got all of the players in the past that have chosen between the Netherlands and Morocco to represent on the international stage. There are many Moroccans that play or have played in the Dutch Eredivisie. This is just going to add to a little bit like the Netherlands-Japan game. There's a bit more of a spice. There's going to be an atmosphere about the game going into it beforehand, but also throughout the game. Morocco come into this confident. They think that it's their time to beat the Netherlands. They've beaten other big European sides before. Spain and Portugal, I think, come to mind here. Yeah, it's another one of those that they could absolutely turn up and knock us out.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot, as you say, there's a lot of stories. There's a couple of Dutch-born Moroccans in the side that we'll probably see play. Mazraoui and Saladin, two of them. Saladin played for Netherlands up until under 21 level, then swap sides. And I think it's happened more and more frequently now that if you're Moroccan-born, you choose Morocco now. I think it's happened. Ouarghi, the Feyenoord youngster, was one of the most recent ones. The PSV striker Boudin as well. I think he's chosen Morocco now. And there's rumours around Shaquille Van Persie as well. So, yeah, it's one of these games that's got something extra to it. I think whichever way the game goes, it's going to cause something in the Netherlands. You've got, before the tournament started, I can't remember if it was Van der Vaart or Schneider, one of them saying, if you're not good enough to play for the Netherlands, you play for Morocco. So it's stuff like that, and
not helping.
No, these are messages that Morocco can put, the famous saying of putting it on the wall in the dressing room, being like, look what they say about you, charge them up, stuff like that. It's how Netherlands deal with that. On paper, Netherlands have a stronger side. If you go through the lineups side by side, Netherlands have the stronger team. It's whether or not they perform like the stronger team, or if they give up gaps, give up space for the Moroccan's most dangerous players to get through. And one of the biggest concerns is that the way that Sweden scored was just a simple through ball that got in behind the defence. And that is something that Saibari, as well known at PSV and so far this tournament, is an expert at. So if he gets in behind, then he can punish us. And a PSV striker, because he's still at PSV, I don't think he's sealed his move to Bayern Munich yet, scoring a winner against the Netherlands would be a big story back in the Netherlands. So yeah, I hope it doesn't happen. I hope it's a more than comfortable evening for the Netherlands to get a couple of early goals and it sort of just peters out. But I think Morocco will be very, very up for this game.
Let's look at some of the players in their squad then. This is their goalkeepers and defenders, some very familiar names, I'm sure, for people that watch English or Dutch football. Saladin plays PSV, of course. But then this is kind of what you're saying, isn't it? You look at the players there, and there are some very handy players here, good players. we aren't calling upon players that are playing for playing in Egypt or Belgium, and we only have 2 players from the Eredivisie in our team. But then you got to look at the quality of someone like Hakimi, who is a very strong player. Like, are there any better right backs out there in the world right now than him? He'd probably play for the Netherlands, wouldn't he? Over Dumfries, despite how well Dumfries has done.
Yeah, I guess.
You don't think so, do you?
No, like, yeah, I don't want to really support, Hakimi. That stuff that's going on off the pitch, whether he should be playing at this tournament.
No, fair enough.
Yeah. But, again, until proven guilty and all that. But, yeah, like, I would take Dumfries over Hakimi for me.
Fair. And then midfield and striking options. You got Brahim Diaz, of course, based Real Madrid. El Khabi's caused some damage in European football. Saibari, got to look at him. I mean, let's just talk about him. I really love Saibari in the Dutch Eredivisie and think that he would do pretty well in this Dutch side at the moment, over Reinders in the 10. Talk to us about the damage that he could cause against Morocco. Against the Netherlands.
Yeah, I think he's really grown as a player over the past year. Maybe 2 years. I think he's now become PSV's main man, I think. He scores goals, causes chaos in the front line. Like, his movement is excellent. He's fast, really good ball control, really good finishing as well. I think he's really worked on that bit of his game. That he's now a really good finisher. You've seen it in the World Cup so far. When he gets through, he's got a calmness in front of goal. And his speed, and Morocco seem to look at for him all the time. I know that Brahim Diaz is the sort of recognised striker, but there's times when Saibari is probably the most advanced player of this side, and he's sort of playing as the sort of false 9 striker role. And they'll look for him a lot, I think, in this game. I think they'll recognise that the lack of pace that Van Hecke and Van Dijk have. Saibari is going to be the main man to try and get in behind. And you can imagine that Brahim Diaz picking up, the ball in, gaps in the midfield and looking for Saibari pretty much straight away. I think he's the most dangerous player that Netherlands need to watch out for. And if they give him any space, then he can cause a lot of damage. So whether it's being touch tight on him or having someone, following him around the pitch, I think Koeman needs to be smart and try and shut down his threat any way that he can, because we've said it before, Netherlands midfield far too open, maybe doesn't do as much defensively as they should, and missing that number 6, we don't have Schouten there, who I think maybe would have been perfect for this sort of game, sitting in front of defence. We need either Gravenberch or Frankie de Jong to do that role, and so far in the tournament they've not really shown they can do that.
But on the other hand, they're showing what they do bring with their technical ability and what they can do on the ball. But yeah, absolutely see your point that there's that lack of a number 6. But I suppose that's where you have an argument of, all right, there isn't that number 6, but what we do have is attacking football. And we've shown many times that is going to be a weapon for us. Scored, what's 2 out of 5 out of 3? That's 10 goals in the group stage. That's pretty damn good. That's over 3 goals a game. If we do that against Morocco, score another 3 or even 2 goals, you'd hope that that's enough to win the game. But I'm not feeling confident of a clean sheet. Are you?
No, not at all. I think it's pretty much nailed on that Netherlands will concede at least 1. Yeah, like it's infuriating. Like the game against, I missed the post match, but the game against Tunisia, the amount of chances they got, like first 5 seconds they got a chance, in on goal. We can't seem to defend set pieces. That's the second goal we've conceded from like a header.
Yeah.
And you think that we have such a massive squad, that shouldn't be happening, but it's just laziness and picking up runners. It's just, it's unforgivable. So it's like, if they play like that and give away that many chances against a good side, they're going to get punished. And yeah, like against Sweden, we were so, we didn't get many chances, but the chances we did get, we scored. But there's got to be games where we get chance after chance after chance and not score like it was before the tournament in the friendlies. We're creating loads of chances but not scoring any. If they have a game like that, then, that's the threat of us getting knocked out, because if we don't score, we know we're going to concede at least one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's down to, I think, what we really need is Netherlands to go out there quick, fast, get an early goal. What you don't want is to be sloppy from the start, and Morocco get on top, get a bit of confidence on the ball. Because that's what they did against Brazil. I think against Brazil, they got a very fast start. Same against Scotland, actually, to be fair. Against Scotland, they were very quick out the trap, scored within 70 seconds, and then didn't do anything for the rest of the game. So it could go either way, but I really hope the Netherlands do what they did against Tunisia, start really quick. Brian Brobby gets on the ball as much as possible, get runners around him, get a fast early goal, settle the nerves, and then take it from there.
Yeah, I'd love that. I think that early goal makes all the difference. Okay, don't want to talk jinxes or anything, but yeah. Anyway, I wanna talk about the World Cup knockout bracket in general and talk about who kind of lies ahead of the Netherlands if they are successful against Morocco. But my first question I want to ask you before we get into that is, who has impressed you in the World Cup so far? Because when I look at the group phase for sides such as Belgium, who topped the group with 5 points, so only one win so far in the competition. Portugal going through with only one win. England having a couple of dross performances, but actually, getting the results. For me, that this World Cup, it isn't about that glittering football, and I don't think anyone's kind of sort of flawed anyone so far. But you look at Argentina, their group wasn't the most difficult to win all their games. Plus, and I'm not someone who ever likes to say about corruption and talking about this, but Argentina group stage, that runs to the final. How Messi wasn't sent off, free kicks, penalties. Look, I don't want to go there, but I did just go there a bit, didn't I? But who has impressed you?
It's difficult because, in isolation, there's been teams that have done well, like France, for instance, look good at times. But then you caveat that, Dembele scored a wonderful hat-trick against Norway, but it was Norway's B team for some reason that decided, we're going to
so random.
Yeah, and we've talked about it in one of the shows previously. That's Netherlands at Euro 2008 stuff, doing really well. Always rest half of our team, and then they get knocked out in the next round. So
lacking that rhythm.
Yeah, I think the teams that it's all in isolation. There's teams that have done really well in some games, some not in others. I mean, Colombia are impressive. I thought they were really good against Portugal yesterday. I think Colombia actually have, on paper, a strong side all over the pitch. Portugal can turn it on, but they also rely on a very old Cristiano Ronaldo who looks his age and can only score against Uzbekistan. Argentina have a really easy route to the semi-finals. I mean, again, it's worked out perfectly for them somehow to keep Messi in the tournament as long as possible. Spain look good at times, don't look good at times. England far to deceive so far, injury problems, bad tactics, but on paper they have a pretty easy route to the semi-finals as well. I think that we're on the tougher side of the draw, which might help out, but means that if we get through Morocco, we've got a kinder round the last 16. Then it's down to it'd be the big boys against the big boys. Portugal, France, Germany, quarterfinal. So then it becomes a lottery. I don't think there's anyone that out of all the teams could possibly say at the moment, they're definitely going to win this. But then again, because of the way the World Cup is at the moment, a team like France knows that if they get one win, they're probably through. So it's like, we can turn up, play really well for one game, and then, we can have a couple of lackluster, take it easy performances. So I think we'll now start to see who has it about them when it comes to knockout stages, who's going to freeze and who's going to actually take games by the scruff of their neck and make them not just board draws, wait for extra time and penalties.
Yeah, some of the England squad were talking about how this is now a new tournament. The round of 32 onwards, knockouts, it's going to be all change. I think we will see teams having to play their strongest team, and the big boys have to play some of their best football. So we will see that. But there's, like you said, there's no team that you go, oh wow, like I've watched them and I think they're fantastic. so far, which kind of gives you that little bit of hope, doesn't it? And let's talk about the Netherlands' bracket then, and the bracket in general, because I'm sure we've got lots of general football fans here that would love to see this. Maybe have poured over it lots already. But the bit we're obviously most interested in is, should we be successful against Morocco, we could play against the winner of South Africa and Canada, which, when this match preview comes out, will be on that day. And no matter which side goes through out those two, you'd think, oh, we'd fancy our chances against them. That's not to say that we'll win it easily or anything like that. We don't win games very easily sometimes. And Canada, when they were at home, looked good in patches. South Africa, I haven't been impressed with so far, but have shown some grit at points to get through games and get enough points. But they're not as strong as Morocco from what I've seen so far. That will be the round of 16. And then the quarterfinal, we meet one of the big boys. Just looking here about what could happen. We've got Germany against Paraguay, France against Sweden. So one would expect France against Germany in the round of 16. Before we came on air, I said to you, I think that teams that have got to play big boy after big boy to get through all the rounds, that's going to put a lot of strain on squads. They might go to extra time, penalties, to emotional demand. A team like France probably have got it in them to win a lot of games like that with all the squad they have. But I just think get to the quarterfinal, and maybe it's me wearing those World Cup orange tinted spectacles again. But if France play Germany and it goes to extra time and Germany maybe edge through that, Germany might be fatigued. Germany were good enough to beat France and knock those out. It's not quite as difficult as France. And maybe the Netherlands can do that. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, France against Germany has the potential to be a tough game for France, but it depends what Germany turn up. This isn't the prime Germany of years before. And it looks sticky at times in this tournament. I think Nagelsmann's not got his lineup perfect so far. I think they've relied on substitutes to kind of turn the game. France could wield two different sides in this game and probably win both times. That's how strong their squad is. But you never know. There's always a surprise in these knockout rounds. Sweden could take them to extra time. We all know that Sweden have got, yes, we beat them 5-1, but Sweden created a lot of chances against us on another day. Players like Isak, Elanga, Gyökeres, they're dangerous. So if France, push forward too much, we've gaps at the back, they can punish you. So you never know with that one. I think Germany should beat Paraguay pretty easy. I've not been impressed with Paraguay at all. But a France-Germany charged game that goes to extra time and penalties before then possibly meeting against the Netherlands in the next round is one that could be crucial. And then, I think again, Netherlands, France, you go into that saying France are heavy favourites, but we do have the tools to play against them. We do have the tools to hurt them. So, I think when it gets to the latter stages, you can't really predict it too much. And I would have some confidence that if Netherlands did play France in the quarterfinal, we'd give them a good game.
No, good shout. I should add as well, for anyone that's a bit confused with timings, don't want to confuse you that these are all UK times, so they'll get thrown. The next part of the bracket looks a bit like this, where you've got Belgium, Senegal, USA, Bosnia, Spain, Austria, and Portugal, Croatia. So this would be, let's get a bit dreamly here, dreamland time. This would be a semi-final opponent out of this part. I fancy USA to go a little bit further in this tournament, if I'm honest. But then you got to look at the bottom part of that there. We said it would be Spain in the semi-final if you were to fancy the favourites throughout. And maybe they are still the favourites here. But Spain would have to, first of all, get past Austria, then play the winner of Portugal and Croatia. Portugal and Croatia, that's got extra time penalties written all over it, hasn't it? And then having to play Spain. And that's another big game in the round of 16. So similar to how it could be Germany against France. Then the winner of that would play maybe USA or Belgium or Senegal. And then that's just not, I don't think that's a straightforward route to get to a semi-final. And maybe Spain got knocked out. Maybe Croatia beat everyone on penalties again to get there. What do you think?
Yeah, and the top two games, I fancy USA to get through that one pretty comfortably. Senegal, I think Senegal are an interesting team. I think they've got really good players. So I think way Belgium are playing, I think Senegal could get through that.
Yeah.
And to me, Senegal are a tricky side. I think the USA would have trouble with them. I think whoever gets to the quarterfinal would have trouble with them. So yeah, I think it comes down to Spain will get to the quarterfinal. I think they'll have too much for Austria. And then, yeah, I think Portugal, Croatia will go all the way to penalties. Whoever gets through that, I think then will get knocked out by Spain. Although Nations League, Portugal beat Spain in the final, so not nailed on. But I think it's pretty nailed on for a Portugal-Spain match where Martinez refuses to take off Ronaldo. Ronaldo has an absolute stinker, then the press criticise them all, but no one has the gumption to drop him. So I think it'd be a tight game. A Spain-Portugal last 16 game would be great to watch, especially at 8 o'clock. So it's a good time for us. But yeah, I think out of all those teams, you'd fancy Spain to get to the semi-final.
And then the other part of the draw going down here, so that any of these sides we could meet in a final. We're getting very dreamy. This you would suggest is the more straightforward part of the draw, but surprises will happen. It's World Cup. I'd love to. I'm looking forward to seeing Brazil versus Japan. That does suit me in the UK, being able to watch that. Ivory Coast against Norway. That's another really spicy tie. That's a nice watchable game, that one. Mexico against Ecuador, England against Congo. If you're doing it on paper, and football's never as simple as this, but you're going to maybe see England meet Brazil in a quarterfinal. But Japan could beat Brazil. I wouldn't be surprised at that. Norway could absolutely use a goal from Haaland and maybe even beat at England. That would be a story, wouldn't it? Yeah. What are your thoughts of it and this quarter?
Yeah, I think this is a tight one. I think Brazil have been okay in games and then look good at times, but against Japan, that's going to be tricky for them to get through that. And they'll probably have to play Haaland, even though I wouldn't, necessarily write off the Ivory Coast. I think Ivory Coast have looked good at times. I think they're unlucky to lose against Germany. They've got some really good players. So it's on a knife edge, that one. Then at the bottom of it, yeah, I expect, England to have too much for Congo. But then they've got to travel possibly to the Azteca to play Mexico, which is going to be a difficult tie at 1 a.m. in the morning. I think Mexico would make that game as hard as possible for England. So yeah, that would be a tough one for them to get through, especially since I don't think they're necessarily playing very well so far. But I would, if you said to me one team there that I wouldn't want to face in a potential final, I'd pick either Brazil or Norway, I think.
Interesting. And then they got this quarter of a draw, which is set up for Argentina, really, isn't it, to do really well. But if I lose against Cape Verde, then I will be... I'll come on here giggling.
Yes. I mean, how? I don't know how it's happened, but like all the Messi fans around the world would be absolutely delighted with this draw. I mean, it couldn't have set up more easily for them to reach the quarterfinals. The only possible sticky tie for them out of all this would be Colombia. I think Colombia look really good, but they're going to beat Cape Verde. Like if anything happens, if anybody goes down in the box, they're going to get penalties. So it's like it'll be like a 1-0 win, Messi penalty sort of thing. Egypt, I don't think have looked good. Australia haven't looked good. So they're going to get through that. And then, I think Colombia are the best at the other sides there. So, so they've done their best to get Messi to the final again. So, good luck to them. But I really hope they don't make it. And, I know that it comes across as maybe being better after the last World Cup. But, come on, you only need to watch the games to see how much preferential treatment he gets, how much he gets away with what he does. Yes, he's still a fantastic player. Yes, some of the goals he's scoring are excellent.
Been quality, yeah.
They've not been tested yet, and they're not going to get tested until probably the quarterfinal. It always happens with one tournament that you get lucky and you seem to just fall on the easy side of the draw and don't get anyone until to a semi-final, and that's Argentina this time. And
you could suggest it was the Netherlands last time, couldn't you? In the Euros.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Netherlands, I've been lucky in the past that, playing Costa Rica in knockouts, even though it wasn't as simple as Netherlands should have made it, taking to extra time and penalties and stuff like that. But they have had kind draws before. But yeah, I think the Argentina will make the semi-finals of that one, and then will it be Argentina, England, Argentina, Brazil, Argentina, Norway. Then we'll see if they can really come up against one of the big boys and get through.
Exciting though, a lot of nice football ahead. We've got over halfway in terms of the amount of games in the competition, but now it's it's a really exciting bit. So we haven't done our prediction for the game against Morocco. Let's be big and bold, Mike. I've said I was optimistic. I think I'm going to go for a win. I think I can't shake the feeling that the Netherlands will score at least twice. So it could be a 2-1 win or 2-2 draw, and then we go to extra time. And I think me a couple of weeks ago would have seen like extra time penalties. But I believe this will be a little bit like the 2022 World Cup. We faced USA. We were worried, but then we're like, oh, it was okay after all. That's what I'm thinking might happen, but I might come on here 4 a.m. UK time on Tuesday morning. I might be really annoyed and frustrated and disappointed that we've not been able to beat another side that's ranked really highly in the world rankings. But I am going to go with the Netherlands win in normal time, and I will say 2-1. And I think it's going to be a Brobby, Somerville, Capo. I think they're going to cook at something again.
I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, and for Netherlands to scrape through on penalties. I think it's going to be a horrible watch, nail-biting watch, and for us to absolutely scrape through. Again, if it goes to penalties, I don't fancy our chances, but yeah, I'll be a bit more positive and say that we'll get through, but yeah, I think it'll go all the way. I think it'll be a very nervy game to start with. I think there'll be a bit more openness to the second half. There'll be goals. I think Netherlands will take the lead twice and get pegged back twice, and then it'll go to penalties, and then we'll get through that way.
Okay. This is going to be... But every World Cup's going to be like this, right? It's never going to be easy to get us that far, is it? But that's why we watch football, because we like the pain and the agony of it. And these smiles won't be there in our next couple of podcasts if we get knocked out. So, yeah, it will be a very different atmosphere. Anything else you want to add to today's show, Mike?
Yeah, I think it's one of these ones where, in terms of the group stage, I think Netherlands did well to win the games that they did. I do think if Netherlands get knocked out by Morocco, there's a sense that, yes, there'll be some anger, but there's also a sense that they've come up against a very good side. And they've been quite unlucky with the side of the draw that we've got. We've got Morocco, or could have been Brazil. Yeah. I do think if they go out, it'll be the end for Koeman. But I don't think it would be as ferociously angry as if they played somebody lesser than Morocco or they got knocked out in the group stages. I think he's done okay so far. I think he surprised me at how well he's done. He's not started Memphis from the start. He's not, only brought Somerville on for like 5 minutes at an end. He's given them the proper time, and he's shining. He stuck to his guns with his midfield. At times it worked. I think Reinders probably had his best game of the tournament against Tunisia so far. Unlucky to not score a couple of goals. But I just wish we had somebody in the squad that could sort the defence out. If there was somebody in the coaching team that could set us up to defend corners or defend counter-attacks, it would be great. Ruud van Nistelrooy seems to have started with the finishing, and he seems to have been getting some goals outside. We just need... Part of the next coaching team needs to be somebody that can set this defence up and make us tight so that we're not always having to score 2, 3, 4 goals to win games.
Yeah, I love their sorts. I think that's nailed on, right? That we won't have a ginormous bad reaction out of the Netherlands. If we do lose, I think we'll all be disappointed, frustrated, and slating players and manager and everything. If we do go out, because we'll be upset about it. But yeah, you're right. Like this is a big tie. How many sides do the world rankings say are better than Morocco at the minute? Like, there are 5 others because we're 5th and Morocco is 7th, and to face that in the round of 32, it is really, really unlucky. But this is a test that we have to get past. And I don't want to be like some of the Dutch pundits that will say this will be simple, this will be easy. Like, look how easy this will be comparing the players. I do think though that we have the better squad, and they're going about Morocco's like unbeaten run. Well, we've got the longest unbeaten run in the World Cup for a start, in normal time and all that. We also, that Morocco haven't played the hardest teams in recent history. They got a draw against Brazil. They struggled at times against Scotland, conceded 2 against Haiti. I just think there are things that we can do to get at them. And I'm going to go a bit above your opinion there, Mark. I think Koeman has done more than okay. I think he's done a good job so far. The friendlies were the friendlies. I said that at the time. I'm not going to judge him on that, but I'm going to judge him on what we see in the group stage. And he got it wrong against Japan. He admitted it. He brought in Robbie. And that I just feel like that was his intention, to do something like that, to bring him in. Maybe even he's been surprised by how well Robbie's done. He might have thought he'd start Memphis by now, and he hasn't needed to because of how well Robbie has done. But fair play to him. He's done that. I mean, he stuck to his guns of not rotating the whole team against Tunisia. That was the right decision. He didn't play with 2 players that won yellow cards. Probably the right decision too. He is getting it right in attack with Van Nistelrooy's help. We're scoring goals. He got the right call, bringing Somerville in over Frimpong. And for me, there's enough positivity going on here that I think we can get past Morocco. I think there's enough about us to do that because of all these right calls we've seen so far. Like, it would be strange if we had a really lackluster defeat against Morocco now. I think that would be against the billing of what we've seen so far. And if we go a goal down, I think there's enough fighting quality to get some goals. But if we have a moment where Morocco can play on the counter-attack throughout the game because we've got a goal down, that is dangerous and really quite worrying for us.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think barring the reason I'm not points off for Koeman is the game against Japan, because he got that totally wrong. And that could have been a disaster if he didn't improve things against Sweden, and he did. Like, putting Robbie in the starting 11 was such a good decision. And I think we're now seeing the starting Netherlands striker for years to come if he keeps playing like this, because he changes everything.
Please.
Like, he changes everything. Like, from what you see with Memphis, like, yeah, people are laughing at him when he was trying that overhead kick against Tunisia and stuff like that. But
thanks for reminding me again.
It's different types of strikers. Like, Robbie just has something about him that he must just be an absolute horror to play against. And yes, in the Premier League, he has been criticised because there's been a few times where he's left his foot in on like goalkeepers and defenders being a bit naughty. But I mean, is there anything really wrong with that?
That's the edge players need, right?
Yeah. Like, even against Tunisia, he kept ripping the name off the defender's back, stuff like that. Like, you'll have to see it. You want to see him bullying defenders. And one thing that I love about Robbie is he's always asking for the ball. Like, he's always like, there's a few times where he's got his back to goal, he's on the edge of the box, he wants it to his feet because he knows that he's going to beat the defender, he knows he's going to hold him off. But there's times where like Van Dijk won't make that pass because it's like because he's like on the centre circle, Robbie's on the edge of the box, he's asking for it, but Van Dijk chooses to go sideways or to De Jong or something like that. But if we can do that, if we can split the midfield, get the ball to Robbie as much as possible, and let him do what he's been doing, the little flicks, the tricks to set up the 2 that are going to score the goals, which is Gakpo and Somerville or Dumfries, then we could have a lot of success. And that's probably against a team that's going to defend a lot. But it'd be interesting to see Robbie, say if we do get past this game, we do get past the last 16, Robbie against someone like France, they're not going to defend, they're going to attack us. Then what happens, when he's not got, not got all the men behind the ball, he's not got that defender pinned to him, then he needs to step up and do a bit more. But right now, for games like this, Robbie's the perfect striker to have.
Okay, well, we'll wrap up there then, shall we? It's been a nice bumper show talking about the Morocco game and the World Cup. knockouts, what could happen there. If you enjoyed this, leave it a like. Let's get 100 likes in this one, and comment down below your thoughts on the game. What are your predictions? Are we going to do against Morocco, or are you a Moroccan football fan that's thinking, what are these two on about? We're gonna give Netherlands a new one. Yeah, let us know. We will see you in the post match after the Morocco game, no matter what time it finishes. So we'll be there full time. If it's extra time, we'll be delayed a bit. And yeah, if whether the Netherlands get through or not, we'll do another show certainly after the post match, either wrapping up a competition, sharing our thoughts on that, or it will be a preview for the game after. Either way, we'll be here. So stay tuned to Football-Oranje. Subscribe if you're new. Lots of new subscribers over the past month or so, and we'll see you on the next one. Hopefully these smiles are still here.
Thanks, crossed.
Bye, everyone.